Good afternoon, Doak cooks. It has been a beat. We have been busy in our lives, so I have not been preparing complicated meals. Most of the stuff that you've been seeing online has been air fryer, or what we lovingly refer to as freezer, fridge, and pantry nights, which means that of all the meals that we prepare or consume in the evenings or for lunch, grab it yourself, get it and go. But this meal tonight was requested by my mother-in-law. She loves this meal and asked if we could make it. And being a lovely cold March Sunday, I said absolutely. What's interesting about this meal, as you can see, is it's angel hair pasta with shrimp. So then what do I have going on here? And yes, the sauce will take an entire stick of butter. I'm actually thawing this now so we'll get to room temperature. Lime is very important. I'm cheating with a pre-cut chunks of garlic, olive oil, but then we're gonna make things a little weird. So I get made fun of at the grocery store when I put this in my shopping cart. When I go to check out, if anyone's ever going to comment on anything that I ever buy at the grocery store, this is the one. This is it. Strawberry wine. Yeah, it's kind of odd, but you'll understand once I get into the reasonings behind that. But let's kind of dive a little deeper into what it is I'm going to be creating. So I am going to prepare the angel hair pasta as I normally would, salted water, nothing wild and crazy. I'm going to cook up the shrimp with some olive oil, maybe a little salt and pepper, nothing wild and crazy. Okay, so angel hair pasta, shrimp in a cast iron skillet, nothing wild and crazy. This pan in the back here, that's where things get interesting. I am going to reduce the strawberry wine. So I am going to cook the wine with the lime as well as the garlic and maybe a couple of other spices. And we're gonna cook down the strawberry wine until this entire bottle, until we're left with about that much liquid left. So we are reducing our wine, our liquids, to make it a somewhat thicker sauce. I have 2 bottles here because there are going to be 5 adults eating tonight, so I'll probably have to reduce this down twice, which means that I will have 1, 2, so I'll have that much sauce available to us when it is time for us to eat. So it's a lot of steps, and yes, this sauce takes an entire thing of butter, so it's pretty hardcore, but it should be fun. It's going to be delicious. It's not a whole lot of action because, like I said, shrimp, pasta, a lot of time of just reducing this down. So this will take maybe an hour, if not a little bit more, to reduce down. But we'll get into it. All right, let's do it. So this recipe is important because it is built around a seasonal fruit, the fingerling lime, which has very, very large, juicy pearls. Again, seasonal. They're only good at certain times of the year, at certain climates. I have never seen them in the wild, but I've read articles about them and I've seen them online. They look really neat. So this being just a normal lime, you know, a fingerling lime is a lot thinner and longer. And when you cut open and you scoop out the pearls on the inside, they're flavorful and they're large. So for this recipe, what I have been doing for years is I have been taking a single normal lime, which you can find pretty much year round, and I've been scooping out the insides and adding that to my sauce. So it's not cheating. Well, it kind of is. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and I'm going to scoop out the insides of my lime and add them over to the sauce that I'm reducing when it's time. So yes, but if you were to find this, or if I find this recipe later and I share with all of you, I will point out the fingerling lime. That is important and very indicative of this recipe, but I've made a change to make things a little bit easier. So tastes delicious. I would have no idea how the other one tastes because I've never done it with the actual limes I'm supposed to use, but here we are. So, cool. All right, so full transparency, I actually showed that I was going to use a spoon to scoop out the insides of my lime. Well, that didn't work. So instead I used my trusty knife. And now I have all of my insides of my pearls of my limes that I will add to the sauce when the time comes. So I just wanted to clarify that I attempted to scoop out the insides of my limes using a spoon. It did not work, so I stuck with my handy dandy serrated blade. So that's all. Let's move back over to the sauce. All right, so the sauce is reducing down pretty significantly as it's supposed to. So normally I would reduce my heat to super, super low. And right now it's on low, but I would go even lower and let this simmer for a couple more hours. I mean, a couple more, probably about another half an hour or so, not hours, about a half an hour or so. But I am going to introduce another bottle of wine here because, as I mentioned earlier, we're having somewhat of a large dinner group coming tonight. So I'm going to add another bottle to this and we're going to start the whole process all over. To get that original bottle from its original volume down to this quite reduced amount took a good 20-25 minutes. So that's actually going to line up beautifully with all the other steps I have to take in this recipe. So let's add some more wine and then we'll come back. Okay, so my kitchen is actually about to get a whole lot louder because my guests will be here in about 20 minutes. And it's kind of rude to ask your guest not to speak while you're while you're recording video digitally. There's no tape involved here. So what's going to happen next is, as mentioned, this is now the second bottle of sauce that's been added that needs to reduce. I have successfully removed the flesh, the insides, the guts from my limes that I'll add towards the end. The very last thing that I'll do, and I did mention this early on, the very last thing that I'm going to do to this sauce, which makes it oh so luxurious, is taking your room temperature cubed entire stick of butter and very carefully add it to the sauce and let it combine. And so while that's happening, I'm going to get the water boiling and I'm going to get my angel hair pasta in the water. Nothing wild and crazy here. I'm just going to follow the angel hair instructions on the box. And then I have to cook the shrimp. The shrimp take no time whatsoever to cook up. So that will be in my cast iron skillet. And then when I combine everything together, I'll try to turn the camera back on and take a photograph of how I actually plate the noodles and the shrimp and the sauce and the bread. I forgot, we actually have garlic bread that's going in the oven too. So there's a lot that's going to happen, but I'm going to have a lot of additional participants with me here. So I'll stop now, and then I'll come back to the grand finale with everything done and pulled together. And then from there, cool. Let me know what you think. As always, any questions in the comments, drop them there. Thanks, everybody.
I got a broken fit. I got a